Okay, so now we finished editing our dim product, or dimensions of our product. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And I am going to now open the dimension for the machine. By the way, go ahead and hit save or save all for your workbook, and that will kind of make sure everything is kind of in play or being saved for future use. All right, so let me give you the dimension or the structures for the machine dimension here. So first we're going to create a plant hierarchy, which is going to start with the plant number, and then it will be the machine number. Okay. What I want to do is rename this hierarchy here. I want to rename it plant hierarchy. So I'm going to select on it this time and come down here to the properties and then rename it as plant hierarchy. Okay. Now I'm going to start a second hierarchy, which will be the machine hierarchy. It'll start with the machine type and then the machine number. And I'm going to rename this hierarchy machine hierarchy. All right. Now I'm going to go to the attribute relationships. I want to make sure everything is rigid. So I'm going to right click on the first one, make the relationship type rigid, and then the second one, relationship type rigid. All right. And I'm going to hit save. It says also my queue will be saved. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And that just says that there's additional changes that will affect both sides of the project. And in this case, that is completely acceptable. All right. So the next thing I want to do is, as with before, I know that if I go to the browser and if I expand out these browsers, I'm just going to see a bunch of numbers, right? So plant number, it's just, okay, a bunch of numbers. And it would be really nice, of course, if I saw the plant name or the machine name. Now in the machine type, it'll actually give me all of the types of machines, but it's not related to anything yet. So what I'm going to do is go back to my dimension structure, and I'm going to add all the attributes that are in my data source, and I want to move them over here to my attributes. Okay, so what I want to include this time, I want to make sure that I have country name. I don't need country code because it's already going to be connected to the plant number, right? But then I also need plant name. Up here, I have, for the machine, I need machine name. And then the last thing I need it from the machine type is material. So we have all of those connected. And let me show you how we're going to make edits to those particular items. So starting with the plant code, the plant number, we want this to be able to read the plant name. So if you remember from the product dimension, what we made changes to, it's actually down here on the bottom right. So it's in the source area, and then we have the name column. So for plant number, I am going to just make that a plant name. And for the also plant number for the value column, I'll make that plant name. The next thing I need to make an edit to is the machine number. So I'm going to select on machine number. And then for the name column for machine number, I'm going to make that machine name. And then also for the value column, I will make that the machine name. Okay. Now I also need to manage the machine type. I will select on machine type. And for the name column, I am going to select on material. And then for the value column, I am going to make that also material. Now, what I'm going to now do is go to the advanced, and I'm going to change the attribute for hierarchy visible from true to false. This is for the machine type. And now I'm going to go back to the machine number and change that also from true to false. And then the last one I have to make an edit to is the plant number, which I will change that from true to false. Okay. So this sets up our machine dimension. Okay, I'm going to hit save all. And what I'm going to also do once everything is completed, I'm going to close out of that machine, and I'm come back to my cube, and I want to process my cube. I'm going to really specifically check to see if some of these warnings that are at the bottom, if they end up going away. Okay, so one of the things while that's processing I want to share with you is you can see that my warnings talk about I needed hierarchies. So those hierarchies that I just created should basically, those warnings should go away. All right, so now it's asking me if I want to update everything, and I'm going to go ahead and select on yes. Hopefully I get a positive check. I did there, select on run, and it's going to go ahead and process things. That was successful, so I'll close both of these and close this window up here on the upper left. All right, now I can see that my last warning is that the database has no time dimension. We need to consider creating one, and we're going to do exactly that. All right, so how do we get to a time dimension? Well, we never created a time dimension inside of our data warehouse, okay? And typically what we want to do is we want to have a time dimension in our data warehouses, and we've designed dimensional models that way. But in this particular example, we don't have one, so we have to establish one. So we're going to establish one based off of the year of manufacture, month of manufacture, quarter of manufacture, as well as the date of manufacture. And this is quite a little bit of a lengthy process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stop this video short here. And in the next video, I will just dedicate it to creating the time dimension for our data cube. All right. So we'll see you in the next video.